First graders, today for your Tuesday social studies activity, you're going to be comparing toys of long ago and toys of today. And for 6 pages, you're going to be comparing what the toys are made out of and how the children use them. So here, in the first example, we have long ago children roll hoops, like this picture below. Today, children still use a hoop, but it's called a hula hoop, and they play with them a bit differently. Here, long ago, the hoop was made out of wood. Today, it's made out of plastic. And long ago, they used to run long distances behind the hoop, and today we stay standing, we stay still with that hula hoop. Long ago, the toy that children had was called tabletop 9-pins. And it actually, look, it was the same idea as bowling today. You see, we've got these tall pins that stand up, and then we've got 2 spheres or balls that you would roll and hit the pins and knock them over. And today we have bowling. Very similar idea. We have pins at the end of the lane, and you throw the heavy bowling ball down the lane to knock down the pins. But wow, look at what they're made out of. The toys long ago were made out of wood. And now a bowling ball is very, very heavy, made out of very heavy plastic. And look at the bowling alley. It has lights and electricity, and they even put on these fancy glow in the dark lights, UV lights, and music. Bowling is very different now than what it used to be. Now we're going to look at dolls. Dolls long ago were actually made out of the husk of the corn. The husk is the outside part of the corn. I tried to give you a picture here. This is the corn on the cob, and this woman is peeling the corn off the cob. And when you dry it, it's called the leaf. That outside leaf is called a husk. These dolls from long ago were made out of the husk of corn. That's the material that they had long ago. But dolls of today are made out of plastic. This is just one example of a doll from today, but these are very popular LOL dolls. I know many girls in first grade have them. And they are made out of such interesting materials that they can change color when you put them in different temperatures. If you put them in cold water, they can change color, or if you put them in hot water, they're a different color. And sometimes you can even get LOL dolls that glow in the dark. Wow, the materials really have changed, and how children use them has really changed. Now we use different temperatures of water. We can play with them in and out of the water, in the light, in the dark. Long ago, children used this toy called the whirligig. It was a very simple tool. In the middle was a disc made out of wood, and it had some holes in it. And then a string was strung through the holes, and a child would hold them with their fingers like this and swing it around and then pull it tight, and it would make a whirling sound. And that's why it was called a whirligig. It would go whirl, whirl. That's onomatopoeia. Today, there are still whirligigs, but not so much for children to play with. Now we have whirligigs on people's front lawns, like this lawn right here. Here is an airplane, and when the wind blows, the propeller on the front of the plane moves. There are even amusement parks that people go to, and they pay a ticket to enter into this park to see all of these sort of gears that move and spin when the wind blows them. So now they're not really toys that children play with, but now they're decorations and they're artwork, and they're interesting pieces of art for people to see. The whirligigs of long ago were made out of string and wood. And whirligigs now, maybe they're made out of metal, right? And they have many different pieces, plastic and metal. Maybe even some parts are wood, but many different materials. Here we have tops. Long ago, tops were made out of wood, and they used string to wrap around the bottom. And they would pull the string out tight, and then the top would spin, spin, spin on this metal prong. The tops of today are called fidget spinners, right? And there are three weights that are distributed, that are set off like in a shape of a triangle. And because the weights are heavy and you put your finger in the middle, it sort of balances on your finger. And the weights keep the fidget spinner spinning because of the momentum. So it is the same idea. It is still a top. It's the same idea of the toy, but now the toy has changed. Look at the materials. Tops of long ago were built with wood and string, and they had some metal in the bottom, but tops nowadays are made out of plastic and metal, and they move very quickly. Long ago, people used these toys called Lincoln Logs, and actually, Lincoln Logs are still used today. They're really great toys. They're just simple pieces of wood that have notches in them. Do you see these holes? And the notches would help the pieces of wood fit together to make these sort of log cabins. And then they would have these roofs that they could put on the top, which were also made out of wood. The whole toy, every part of the toy was made out of wood. Maybe some of this red roof might have been made out of plastic, but I believe almost all of the toy was made out of wood and painted. But now, a similar toy are the Legos. And I know many first graders love to play with Legos, but Legos are almost completely made out of plastic, very hard plastic, not made out of wood at all. And there are even tires made out of rubber, right? Or some kind of man-made material. The materials of the things that the toys are made out of are so different, right? And look, even adults play with Legos. The pieces are so tiny and fit together to make incredible pieces. Look at how colorful the Legos are nowadays. And they even have parts that spin and roll. Okay, first graders, I'm excited to see how you can tell me about how toys have changed from long ago to today, what they're made out of. You're going to tell me the materials that they're made out of and how people play with the toys differently.